definitely on Hurts. Let me ask you this, Jordan, and this is another topic I'm sure Eagles fans don't want to hear, but are the Eagles kind of a one-year wonder? And the reason I say that, Sirianni's obviously a young coach. They got two number ones. Howie Roseman's a young GM, so like the structure's there. Hurts is a young starting quarterback, but I'm looking at the free agent list. They got about a dozen starters or a dozen either starters or key contributors for them that are free agents. Fletcher Cox, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave, Jason Kelsey, James Bradbury, Isaac Suomalo, Kazir White. These are all starters. TJ Edwards, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Gardner Minshew, Marcus Epps. They're all free agents. I don't know where Philly is on the cap, but that's a boatload of free agents. I got to think there's going to be a ton of turnover. I think they're probably still the team to beat in that division going forward, but their window, I think, it may have to be at least discussed. Was this like a one-shot deal for them, and then now they're going to backslide because so many guys could be departing?
So I think it depends like what you define one-year wonder as, right? Like if it's being a true Super Bowl contender, yeah, I think that it's going to be really hard to find that success next year. I'm with you. I think they can still compete in the NFC East. I think they're still a team that has a great shot at making the playoffs. But the problem is that they're kind of stuck in this window where they do have the young talent like Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, and they're also a team that's full of these veteran guys who are kind of, on the back nine, and Jason Kelsey and Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox and some of those other guys where they've been around a long time and they know how hard it is to get to this stage. And I'm not trying to take away anything from that Eagles team because I think they were very talented. But I think if you look at it objectively, it's going to be really hard to see a path that's easier than having two home games against Daniel Jones and the Giants, who were probably a year early on their rebuild, and a 49ers team that literally didn't have a quarterback that was capable of throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage for the majority of that game. So, it's very difficult to get back to that stage, even with a young team that you do have flexibility with cap space. The one thing I do think the Eagles have going for them is they have that. I think they're picking fifth or sixth, or I know they're picking top 10 because of that Saints pick from the trade they made last year. So they do have the ability to reload a bit, a little bit here, and they do have that young talent. But I don't know for sure, but I did see a number that said they were minus 1.2 million in cap space right now. You can always maneuver that stuff and move it around, but realistically, the odds of them bringing back the whole group and making another run at this thing, I don't see how they're going to be able to do it. And I know 49ers fans maybe are a little, they don't feel the same way as I do after the Niners eliminated them the last couple of years, but Dallas is a really good team. And I think Dallas is much more set to be on a trajectory where more of their guys are in that younger window where they're set up for the next couple of seasons, rather than having half the team on rookie deals and half the team on, kind of teetering on, is this going to be the last time we see them play? And as much as guys like Jason Kelsey love playing in Philadelphia, like you could argue he's the best center in football right now. And I wouldn't blame him in the slightest if he's not giving them, a hand by taking a team friendly deal. Who knows how many more contracts he has left. So I think they're in a tough spot where some of these older veterans who have been so key over the last couple times they've been in the Super Bowl, these guys are going to want to get paid too. And I just don't see how you can pay everybody.
By the way, as far as what picks the Eagles have, the Eagles do pick 31st at the end of the first round, but they also have a pick from New Orleans. So they pick 10th. They pick 10th and 31st. And of course, the 49ers don't have a first or a second round draft choice. So the Eagles have a lot of draft capital for sure.